Hello again. This is Tim Schrock from Design Build Solutions bringing you today's Tech Tip Tuesday. I'm on Chief Architect Premiere version X9 for the Mac, and I'm really excited about today's tech tip because it takes custom to a great level, I think, and it really puts Chief Architect through its paces for what we're doing. This is a fun project, an addition that we are working on right now in the Boston, Massachusetts area. And I have the situation right here where I have an elevator between the dining room and the living room. And these two little hallways, if you will, between them really need to we need to amp up our game. We need to make it look cool. And the suggestion was from the designer that he'd like to see a Byzantine arch type of thing going on here. You know what that is, right? Where there's an arch in this direction and an arch in this direction. So how do we show that that curved cross arch piece going on there? I'm waving my hands around like you know what I'm talking about, but you can't see it. Anyway, moving on, I cut a section view here, and what I've done is created one polyline solid piece that takes up this space right here. So the full width of this is a polyline solid right now, and in a minute we'll use that. But first I needed to see exactly where do I want this arch to be coming through at and what radius. I've got my pillars, my columns at the right height. What radius do I want this to be? I have found out that radius I want to be at 34.5, and by what I did here was let me show you here. E on my keyboard draws an arc, and on this side over here you can see I've got my start end on arc option selected. So I want to start here above my column, and I want to end here above this column. And then I could pick a point up higher if we wanted to do that, but I'm going to give it a little bit of space between the crown and the top of the arc. So actually, let's go ahead and do that here, and see what arc radius that is. That's a 32-inch radius. And that will work fine for us. I'm going to actually delete that arc radius. So what I've done here is created a polyline of two arcs. So I need to actually disconnect the first one of them, and delete it. Okay. Now I'm going to draw a circle from the center. And if I hover in here somewhere, should be the center of my, there it is, center of my arc. And I'm going to draw a circle. This line really is just a construction line, if you will. I'm going to select the line and the circle, and Command C on my keyboard. Control C if you're using a PC. Now I took another section in the other axes. So my first section was cut along this line, and we were looking like that. Then I cut a second section, and I'm looking on the other axis here. And I'm going to Command Option V for paste hold in place. If you're on the PC, it's Control Alt V, and then hit F6 on my keyboard to zoom out to extents. Now as I do that, it pasted, remember I copied the line and the circle, it pasted those in the same XY coordinates as the first cross section. I'm mainly concerned about the Y coordinates, not so much the X coordinates. But the X sends it way out here, so I have to hit S on my keyboard and just drag it across somewhere in the middle of the house. Hit F6 again, and I'm going to zoom in on this. Now, as I pull it over here, I'm going to try to find this midpoint of, remember I've got this polyline solid that I previously made come out to the edge of the wall, and it comes up here. So I want to find the midpoint of this and put this axis on that midpoint. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a line, W on my keyboard, and there's my midpoint. That's fine. I'm going to pull that up, that construction line. Now I don't care about this construction line so much that we copied over, so I'm just going to select my circle and Command G to try to center it. Command G isn't working, so I'm going to cancel that, select my circle again, and I'm going to hit X on my keyboard is the point-to-point move. So I'm going to take the top quadrant of the circle and move it onto the space here. Now this, what do we have, 32-inch radius? Yes, 32-inch radius works perfectly for my columns here. So I now have to do this. I'm going to take this circle and I'm going to turn it into a polyline solid. And we're going to make that 60 inches thick. I'm going to go back into my first cross-section axes and do the same thing to this, a polyline solid, 60 inches thick. Now, there's my default CAD layer. These, I gotta remember here. I gotta find these polyline solids we created. It's not on second floor. I don't see them on first floor. Is this it? No, that's not it in the basement. So what's happened is it looks like they got put on this default CAD layer, which is off at the moment. Ah, there they are. There's one circle. And, okay. You're seeing this live here, folks, so, okay. There's one circle. And here's the second circle. Excellent. Now, this is the fun part. So I'm going to select these two circles, and I'm going to Command C to copy them, Control C if you're on the Mac, and I'm going to start a new plan file. I'm going to hit Command Option V, Control Option V on your PC, and F6 does not show me anything, so I have something, a layer not on. Let's turn on CAD default. Let's turn on, yeah, it looks like maybe it's CAD default. F6, there they are. Go back to my floor plan. The last thing I need is this square one that I created, and that's right there. So I'm in my select objects mode, the space bar or the arrow up there on the left, and as I click, say I selected the doorway first, I'm going to tab, that selects the wall, tab one more time, and there's my polyline solid. So I'm going to Command C, go to my new floor plan, and Command Option V for paste hold in place. All right. There's my circles. I want to make sure the circles go actually through and beyond the square that we created here. Okay, so let's take a quick perspective overview of this. And I don't see anything because I don't have the right layers turned on again, I'm sure. Let's turn those layers on. Okay, so if you get the picture, right? This is the piece that we want right here. And we want that to go through, and we also want this one to go through this way. That one goes through that way. If I turn on my, yes, gotta turn that off. If I turn on glass house view, you can see how the cylinders go all the way through that. In order to do this, though, what I have to do is I have to turn this into a solid. I have to turn each of these shapes into a solid, really. And so I'm going to start with the block on top and convert that to a solid. Now I'm going to select this circle, the cylindrical, well, it's a cylinder, and turn that into a solid. And so then I'm going to select the box on top, and I'm going to subtract, do a solid subtraction, select box on top first, solid subtraction, and what do I want to subtract from it? I want to subtract from it this cylinder. So there's the first direction of this arch. Now I'm going to turn this cylinder into a solid as well. Select the box on top one more time and do a solid subtraction again. And I'm going to subtract from this shape this cylinder. And now I've got my Byzantine arch. And you can actually see, right? Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? You can see how this is created, this double arch with these little pieces here. Now guess what? The beautiful thing is, because I used Command Option V, my paste hold in place, I can actually grab this solid, this shape, and Command C. Copy this, go back to my floor plan here, and I'm going to delete all of these items. The rectangular box and the two cylinders. And I'm going to Command Option V to paste hold in place right back where it came from. Isn't that fantastic? Now, layers. You know I'm all about layers. This is a ceiling plane object, right? So I'm going to Command E or Control E and change that to a ceiling plane layer so that it's visible in the right layers here. Now, let's take a quick rendering of this, and it's not going to quite be accurate. And I'll tell you why. Because right now, I've got a doorway right here. What I really need to do, right, is actually, how should I best do this? How can I best do this? Well, this is going to be an invisible wall. That's how to best do this. I can delete the doorways. and I'm going to make these two walls. Whoops, I don't want the whole thing, so break that wall. Select these two walls. Command E to open the wall specification dialog box, turn them invisible, and go back to my rendering. Now I see exactly where it is. Let's paint this. I don't want to paint with the roller. I want to paint with the object. Ho 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 ho. Oh ho ho ho. The last little bit is because Chief doesn't recognize or doesn't see a wall there, is to put my molding in the room. So I'm going to select my room, and I'm going to make a room molding polyline. I want to choose the crown molding. The height is already set at what it is existing right now. So click OK. And pull this line forward right there. Got a little bit of cleanup there and there. Chief always treats room moldings a little tricky, particularly around doorways and invisible walls. I'm going to turn on a molding there. I don't have the right. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So I've had to turn off my angle snaps to get exactly where I wanted it to be. The beautiful thing about that is then I know I'm actually taking the end of that. Oh, we did it again. Made me a liar, didn't it? Okay. Pull that back. There we go. Let's do the same thing over here with these. So I'm leaving angle snaps off. I'm going to take the edge of one point and take it to the other to delete that section. Now I'm going to turn angle snaps back on by hitting F10 on my keyboard and pulling that right there. The last thing I need to do is make sure there's a molding on that edge, on that segment of the line. And there we go. I'm going to add a light source in the room, just a wee bit dark. Three light sources, one under the arch, two in the room, and let's see what we've got. Oh, yeah. Yeah. This is so much fun for me. This is Tim Schrock from Design Build Solutions bringing you today's Tech Tip Tuesday on creating custom objects, custom shaped objects here. Today's object is the Byzantine arch. If you like this, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to get notifications each week when we submit our video. And if you have ideas for what tips you'd like to see done here, please comment and let me know that, and we'll try to work that into our schedule. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful week.